Good morning, hosts. Thank you for joining us on a lovely Sunday morning. My name is Lindy, and I am the Regional Community Manager for Asia Pacific. I am based in Singapore, and I'm super excited to be here to connect with you, our India Homes hosts. A couple of housekeeping notes. Do not be alarmed. You are currently on mute, and the only faces that you'll see will be the ones presenting today. Please utilize the Zoom chat box. We love to hear from you, so please ensure that your Zoom chat box settings are to all panelists and attendees, as you can see on the screen. That way, everyone online today will be able to see your comments and reply. Please hold on to your questions till the very end of the session, as we have a Q&A segment to answer any relevant questions you might have about today's webinar. If you have any questions along the way during the webinar, please feel free to type them out in the chat or utilize the Q&A button, and leaders or I hope to reply to you as soon as we can. Lastly, please share with everyone here in the chat box where you're from and how long you've been a host on Airbnb. I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to share where you're from. Leaders, please feel free to introduce yourselves as well in the chat. We will start in a couple more minutes to let more people join today's webinar. Thank you. So spread across 220 countries and regions, the 4 million hosts on Airbnb are the foundation of our community and our company. Our mission is focused on fostering belonging, especially at a moment in which humanity needs human connections more than ever before. But that feeling of belonging is made possible by hosts and the unique experiences that hosts offer guests. It's what makes Airbnb special and different, and we want to thank you, our hosts, for being part of this mission. Without further ado, we do have a few of our passionate homes host leaders on our call today who are eager to say hi to you. Leaders, would you please introduce yourselves?
Hi everyone, my name is Anubhav and I'm a community leader from Rajasthan. I'm hosting on the platform since 2017. And a fun fact about me is that I binge watch Friends, the TV serial, all the time. I've watched it over like 10 times. My favorite character is Joey, and my favorite episode in Friends is the one where everyone finds out about Richard and Chandler and Monica. Over to you, Chirag.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am also a community leader from Rajasthan. Anubhav and I work together as the community leader, and I have been hosting since 2017. I have about 45 listings in Jaipur, and a little fun fact about me is that I love stray dogs, and I try to get them home one at a time. So I am in constant battle and fight with my mom about it, and I look forward to see a lot of you in our Facebook group after we get introduced well here. Over to you, Hari.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Hari, and I'm a community leader from Uttarakhand region. And I've been hosting on Airbnb since 2019. And a very little and a fun fact about me that I write small Hindi stories. And basically, I'm really excited to meet you all on this Airbnb webinar, and would like to call over like Miss Pushpinda.
Hi everyone, my name is Pushpinder Kaur. I am a community leader for the region Uttarakhand, and I have been co-hosting since last 2 years. Fun fact about me is that I like cooking and do experiments with it. So sometimes it turns out good, and sometimes it turns out to be a very good. So I'm very excited to meet you all. Over to you, Sarab.
Hi guys, I'm Captain Sarabdeep. Past 20 years I've been sailing around the world on board ships, hopping around countries, and in the bargain I've also visited a lot of Airbnbs this past 8 years or so. And so we are hosting the Airbnb community for Uttarakhand. We are the community leaders. We have been hosting for past 2 years. And fun fact about me is I'm trying to slow down in this fast moving world. And another fun fact, Pushpinder cooks, as he said, and I'm the one who's being experimented upon. So good, bad, I won't reveal it here. Thank you. Over to you, Keshav.
Oh, we'll have Keshav introduce himself a little later. Thank you so much, leaders. I'm very happy that you were able to join us today. I would also like to give a quick shout out to our other host leaders, Balaji, Simon, Sonam, Reno, JD, Deepak, and Amol. Next up, we have Pushpinda, who will be introducing to everyone more about the Airbnb host community. Pushpinda?
So here I am going to present to you the Airbnb host community centers. As you know, it is always better to be a part of community than to rather walk alone. As you can see here, you will find discussion forums and featured articles, which will be very helpful in your hosting journey. Community centers is a great way to share your knowledge and to meet different hosts who are creating a world where anyone can belong anywhere. So what you all have to do is to sign in with your Airbnb account and get started. Over to you, Sarab.
So everybody, so you know us, Sarab. So I'll be discussing more about the clubs we've made right now. So the Indian clubs are fairly new. They have been created this year, and we are looking out for you, the fellow hosts, to join this club and make it more active, more fun. So guys, how do you think then are you going to join this host? What are the requirements? So first thing foremost, it is exclusively for the Airbnb host community, which is you guys, and the members who send the request are verified by the Airbnb team before you can join the groups. And once you join the groups, you will see weekly sharing of content from the leaders, like events, discussions, invites. So you all get to know what the community is doing right now and about the community and region around you. And then you have a good connect and discussions with the fellow hosts. So that way you can improve your hosting experiences, and we can share our experiences and knowledge amongst us. So we strongly encourage everyone to join the Facebook club near to you. Engage with the leaders. Share your ideas, share your experiences, and we all can gain together as a community. Thank you. Over to you, Hari.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Hari again from Uttarakhand, and here I am to explain you about the Get Local page. So this Get Local page is basically has two things which explain you about meetups happening in your area, links to the Facebook clubs. Basically, they have like two different things like purple dots in the map that you see indicates home host Facebook clubs, and red dots indicate experience host Facebook clubs. Find support in other hosts in your own community. Host clubs are safe space to share advice and best practice, meet other like-minded people in the community, and take part in volunteer activities. So like these clubs on the Get Local page are constantly updated on a monthly basis with new club additions. So these are the things which are gonna explain on the Facebook page. I think Sarav has already completed. Now I would like to call Chirag.
Yes, hi everyone. So everyone can see right now that how our club headers look on Facebook. So all you need to do is search in the territory name. Let's say you are searching for Rajasthan Airbnb host community on Airbnb. So you type in the exact same term, Rajasthan Airbnb host community on Facebook. You'd see a group with this image. Like for Rajasthan, this is Jal Mahal, one of the heritage sites in Jaipur. So that's how you can find out that which one is the authentic club. And once you request to join, you would be asked two questions. One would be a general question that you agree with the terms and conditions. Second, please remember to mention your listing link that you can get from your laptop or your mobile application that you would be using. Here you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clubs. We have a 6th club coming up very soon for Agra, and we hope to see you there as well.
Thank you, Chirag. Next, we have community leader program. So I'll tell you what community program leader is, who is it for, and how you can apply for it. So basically, community leader program was started by Airbnb, and it is made up of host clubs that are made up of people from different regions, and they are passionate about sharing their homes and the economic impact which it brings to their communities. So we are looking to expand these clubs in order to reach as many home hosts as possible and grow the network of home host community in India. So if you live in a state which is not seen as part of the previous slide which Chirag shared, don't worry. The Airbnb team is actively looking for community leaders in other states. So if you have the passion for hosting, have experience in moderating social media group, love meeting new people, enjoy organizing events, have the drive for community building, and know that you have what it takes to build a community leader, please apply and join the community leaders program. The link will be shared right in the chat box, and Lenny will share that. Thank you. Over to
Thank
you,
you
Lenny.
guys so much. Yeah, thank you, leaders. And now we'll move on to the meaty part of today's webinar, Introduction to Experiences. Our special guest for today is Keshav. He is one of our most active community leaders that we have at Airbnb, and I'm super excited to have him share more about himself as well as his life as an experience host. Keshav will also share with you more about what experiences are, how to become an experience host if you've been thinking about it, and also share with you the benefits of connecting with fellow experience host as a homes host. Take it away, Keshav.
Hi there. Thank you very much, Lindy. Thank you everybody for joining in. I have never been with so many hosts today. It's fantastic. We have so many people in the room right now, and all of you are joining in from so many parts of the country. It's absolutely fantastic to see you today. Now, to quickly tell you a little bit about me, since everybody is sharing their fun fact, here's mine. I'm not too sure how fun this is because I decided to quit my first job, which was that of an accountant, by jumping off a plane. So it was in skydive. I went to the skydive Dubai. I jumped off the plane. When I landed to the ground, I decided I don't need my boring job anymore, and that's how I quit my job and decided to begin hosting. I'm presently based out of New Delhi. It's been 2 years hosting in real life experiences and 1.5 years of hosting the online experiences. Presently, I have about 7 in real life experiences and about 5 online experiences. We'll slowly dig into what exactly they are. If you ask me why experiences, because I believe they are my dopamines. They are my, when I'm on experiences, I'm the happiest. They just fill me up with so much of life. They are my window to the world. Let's just move on and let me now share everything about experiences and tell you how we are going to cover it in the next few minutes. But before I do that, how many of you already know about experiences? If you know about experiences already, just write a yes in the chat box. And if you have no idea of what experiences really are on Airbnb, because it's really the newest product and it's still picking up in India. So if you know about it, them already, you could just write a yes. I could see Achal, Bisha, Sachin, oh, definitely aware with she says, Chibu says a yes. If you know about experiences, just let me know a yes. If you have no idea what experiences are, don't worry. In next 20 minutes, you would know everything about them. Now, we are going to talk about what are experiences, why you need to know about them, because they're the next big thing, and how you can actually get started on hosting an experience. And I'm going to share with you how you can actually put up an experience on Airbnb and start hosting along with your home hosting, which means extra income, extra opportunity to reach out to more people, and more exciting opportunities ahead. I'll also give a quick introduction to the online experiences, which is the latest product again. Even in experiences, they have started a new vertical, which is online experiences. And we are also going to talk about the magic of home hosting when put up with experiences. Before I do all of that, let me just quickly introduce to my dopamines, basically the experiences that I do right now in Delhi. So let's move on to the next slide, where I'm going to introduce you everything that I do presently on experiences. This is one of my experiences, which is known as Secret Society of Street Food and Street Art. Basically, I'm a street art maniac. I go on discovering street art, click pictures with it, try and understand what are the stories behind it. I started hosting this in 2019, and I decided to take people to India's largest street art district, which is in Lodi. Lodi Art District is India's largest street art district. So we walk in the area, we talk about the murals, what they see, what I see. I tell them stories of how the artists decided to put up these murals and what they depict. It is followed by a short food trail, which is also inside Lodi. It's a very, very candid, light-hearted, rich on content experience, and each time I go to the area, I take a guest along with me, and I get to learn so much more than just the things that I know already. So they are able to share their experiences of what kind of street art exists in their area, and I can tell them my things in the area. I have another experience about street food in Delhi, which is known as street food and its Mughal culture on the next slide. Now, this is actually an experience which takes you through the richness of Delhi's culture and past. It's an experience where we go into an old Haveli, we watch live Kathak performances, and we eat a lot of Mughalai food. So for foreigners, it's really a delight to see all of this in a 2 hour experience. So they book a spot for themselves or for their family. If it's a group who's traveling to Delhi, they want to quickly see a nice cultural dance, understand what it is about, and at the same time understand the food that Delhi is very famous about. My another experience is about a ride into the Yamuna on the next slide. Now, in this experience, we actually book a boat ride into the river Yamuna. Now, Delhi is known for being a typical city like New York, which doesn't have a culture of its own. It's a metropolis, but can you imagine Delhi gets to see migratory birds during 6 months of winter? So we book a boat ride to Yamuna. I take my guests inside this boat. We go in the middle of Yamuna and we do a meditation session together, and we see migratory birds flocking from one side to other. We speak to local boatmen, we try and see what kind of things exist in the area, what kind of crops are there, what are the water levels like. We go deep inside in the middle of Yamuna. So it's an experience which I just started doing up before the pandemic. It hasn't had a lot of bookings, but I'm sure as the things open up, things would get really better. Let me show you a few more examples of some of the experiences which people around India are doing. On the next slide, we have a nature's walk. Now, this is an example from Dehradun where you can actually book a trip with a local to actually go deep inside the hills. On the next page, we have a photo shoot. If you're a photographer or if you enjoy doing photography, you could actually list your experience on Airbnb where you could photograph people on a lifestyle shoot. Instagram is gaining popularity. Everybody who's traveling to an area would want the perfect pictures. So if you're a photographer, you could actually design an experience where you could take them to remote locations which are Instagrammable, which are very, very interesting to look at, and you could actually design a complete experience out of it. So I'm assuming by now you have a very nice idea of what experiences really are. But to tell you a little more about experiences in more detail, I'll move on to the next slide where you will see what experiences really are. Now, this was launched in 2016, and these were basically off-beaten tracks with the locals into the mainstream. The idea is to empower you as a local. And ever since it has been launched, it has taken internet by storms. Everybody in the news and print and media, people are talking about how people are not going to be doing things that are touristy, but they would want to do things that are micro-local, which you and I perhaps know how to do the best. For example, Pushpendra cooks probably the best paranthas in town, and you and I probably need to go there and try them once. So she can actually put up a parantha making workshop or perhaps an elaborate meal preparation at her home. People can actually book her. She can earn money for it, and she can also develop it as a hobby, and not just in person, she can also do it online. So let's just develop a quick clarity of what really experiences are and what they are not. I'll move on to the next slide where you'll get to see a clear differentiation about what really is an experience and what is definitely not an experience. Now, here are some of the examples which are definitely an experiences. For example, check out the best Instagram spots in New Delhi, a family scavenger hunt in my city, walk into the 5 most unique cafes that serve fantastic vegan food, a medicinal walk into the ancestral Ayurvedic farm. These are few of the examples which really catches the attention of the guest and they would want to take it up. What are definitely not an experience, a pick and drop service from the airport to your hotel in my car. This would not qualify as an experience. A tourist service of providing tickets to museums, monuments in your city, they can do it by themselves. This is not the spirit of experiences. A food delivery service like Zomato to deliver food at your doorstep while you're still in India or in the city, this wouldn't qualify as an experience. Experience is much more personal, something that they cannot do by their own. It is only something that you can introduce to the guest. A desk service that helps you plan your perfect day in my city would also not be experience, because this is something typical they could book on the internet, but they wouldn't find Pushpendra's paranthas on the internet or Zomato. So you have an idea of what experiences really are in a true sense. Now, if you're thinking that you're home host and you do not need to care about experiences, I think you might just be a little bit wrong. I have put out something else on the next slide, which will give you an idea of how much potential is waiting for you to be encashed. Now, this presentation is completely made by me. So this is one of the reports that I have presented before you. It is from this website, which is listed down there, and it kind of gives you about how much global share of this market segment is. This is from 2019, and it gives you an idea of how popular attractions, activities, and tours are going to be. Now, both all these three things are completely different from typical tourist things that you would do in your city. Of course, people would want to visit Taj Mahal, but that's like a day's job. If they are in India for a week-long thing, they would want to book to see more interesting and fascinating things that you do in your life. So how do you really get started? Let's move on to the next slide, where I'm going to give you step-by-step process of how to prepare a wonderful experience. Now, if you feel like it's too much to start, just hear me out. Maybe just see it once and never prepare an experience for yourself. It's absolutely okay if you feel that you do not need an experience right now. But having an understanding of how experiences are and how easy it is to get them done, maybe at some point in life, whenever you want to begin hosting an experience, you would know that how to do it when you decide to do it. Now, step one is to pick up a theme. If you go to the website, you would see an option to create an experience, just like how you can create a listing for your home, you can create a listing for an experience, but you could pick up a theme. Now, this theme could be anything. Here are some of the examples which are listed on the website. It could be about animals, it could be about art and design, it could be about food, travel, entertainment, history, culture, wellness, nature, and if you click any of these activities, it has further sub activities. So you could actually look at these options, try and understand what works best for you, and then you could pick a specific theme, and then you could convert your hobby into a profession. Now, on the second step on the next slide, you have to find three things to make a perfect experience to ace at it. I call it ACE because this is access, connection, and expertise. These are literally the only three things that you need to have to be able to put up a wonderful experience. Access is about giving them something that they cannot find on their own. I'll again go back to Pushpinder's example. Sorry, Pushpinder, I'm totally putting you on a spot, but now that we know that you make the best paranthas in the world, I need to talk about them. Access is about giving them an introduction into a world which is not really available on Google. Pushpinder might know the best spices that go into food. She might know the best Indian or Punjabi recipes. They would not be able to find them on internet. So it is about giving them an access into an insider world which is different from the internet. The second is connection. Connection is about making something which is more meaningful. Think of this as an example. You book a cab, you sit with the driver, he doesn't talk to you at all, he totally takes you to your place, and you get off the cab, the ride is complete. But imagine if you sit in a cab, the driver began starting with you about how was your day. He tells you about how his family is like, he asks you where you're headed to. And imagine if you instantly develop a conversation. Developing conversation is something which helps you establish a connection. Experiences are only about establishing a connection. You wouldn't want an experience where a person takes you to a place and leaves you on the door. You would want them to hold your hand, show you around, and develop a connection with you, a one-to-one strong connection. The third is, of course, expertise. If you have expertise over something, for example, let's say you have traveled the world and you can now write, you can help plan somebody a perfect trip around India. So when they come to India, you could actually develop an experience about sitting with them and helping them make a perfect itinerary for themselves while they're in India. And you could share your pictures about while you were traveling. You could share with them souvenirs that you bought when you were traveling. I've seen an experience where there's a mom in Noida and she owns a sari boutique. So she tells travelers about how to tie sari in 10 different ways. So because she has a shop where she sells saris, she has got a variety of saris to offer, and the person doesn't have to buy one. She just introduces the culture of saris to the international audience because she has an expertise about what kind of fabric goes in there, how much sari cost, and how to tie them in different ways. It's an exciting experience, and she doesn't even have to learn a new thing. It is something that she is already an expert in. So we'll move on to the next slide where I'll introduce you to the step 3, which is creating a listing of an experience, which is the most important step. Now, just like how you would set up a home listing, You would mention its location, you would mention the price, all the do's and don'ts about what are your offerings inside the home. Just like that, on an experience, you'll have to pick about what you're going to do, a little bit about yourself, the location where this experience takes place, what are the things that you're going to provide. For example, you're going to provide them a full meal. For example, I provide them a map of Lodi and couple of stationery items to make their notes while they walk the streets with me. Or you could also mention the guest requirements. Maybe they need to wear boots while they're on your experience because it's a trekking experience, or maybe they need to, if it's a yoga experience, they need to be empty stomach 2 hours before. You then need to choose a title, put up a couple of photographs, you need to practice, and you're ready for hosting. You would not believe how exciting it is to meet somebody each time and to discover how they like your hobby. And it's so gratifying to actually see people enjoying something that you enjoy doing. It's such an exciting opportunity to introduce your art to the world through experiences. So these are just the 3 steps that you need to make it all happen. Now, if you're thinking that we are still in the middle of pandemic and how are you going to do this, because you don't see foreign guests coming on your doorstep as yet, and India is slowly opening up, and we're still uncertain about the future. On my next slide, I have something which is the most exciting thing in the world right now. The in real experiences have now moved online. That means you do not need a person physically traveling to your place. Just like how we are connected together on this webinar, you could actually set up a Zoom meeting to teach them your Indian cooking. You could set up a Zoom meeting to teach them perhaps origami, mandala art, or anything that you enjoy doing and you're good at. I'm a community leader for the online experiences, just like how Hari, Anubhav, and others are for their own cities. So you could actually host people around the world through your computer screen. Companies may book as many as 100 people together or even 500 in one go. They are ticketed events. You could put them on Airbnb and you would be instantly connected to thousands and thousands of people that are around the world. All you need to do is have a laptop, a good internet connection, perhaps a couple of minutes to practice yourself, and it will help you generate extra income. At the same time, slide you into the world of experiences slowly and gradually. Of course, if you feel like you need to do something which is only in real life experience, you could do that at also. Now, just to show you a couple of things that I do on my online experiences, now that you have seen my in real life experiences, we'll quickly move on to the online experiences. So you could see that about 500 plus people have reviewed it. It is rated at 4.98, and it is a massive amount of money on their marketing. Lindy, could we have the next slide, please?
Yes, Keshav, we lost you for a minute there, but we've got you back.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's kind of rainy here, so it
No
could be my
worries.
internet. Yeah.
All good.
So I was sharing about my online experiences, and this is one of the most popular top sellers online experiences. You could see that about 500 plus people have reviewed it. It is rated at 4.98, and it is the same version that I used to do offline. So this is an online version of my online experience where I introduce them in 1 hour to Indian art, Indian culture, Indian street art, and all the stories about it. On this experience, they get to see best of Indian street art and they understand the stories that go behind it. I'll give you 2 more examples on the next slide. I have another experience where I introduce them to the concept of Indian weddings on Zoom. This is an experience which is called Live and Attend an Indian Wedding on Zoom. I put up my entire Indian wedding on a show format in a 1 hour experience. The other one is known as International Yoga Day. It was specially for Yoga Day with music therapy, where we connect on Zoom, we practice Surya Namaskar, and we also dip into some soulful Indian music. So these are some of the examples, and I'll show you what the power of online experiences is right now on the next slide. Have a look at all my reviews and number of people who have attended the experience right now. Totally not boasting about it, but this is just the reality of just about every other host right now in the world. You could see that about 32,000 people have seen my experience. There are about more than 1,400 bookings right now, and people from around the world, including all the Fortune 500 companies, the Bill Gates Foundation, National Geographic, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Zillow, you name it, and it is probably there on Airbnb. Airbnb spends a massive amount of money on their marketing. You could just be benefited by it from your home if you are a part of experiences. Now, you can actually book one of these online experiences with me, where I can actually help you understand what exactly these online experiences are. On the next slide, you could see one of my latest experiences, which is a masterclass designed for Airbnb, where I can actually help you set up your first in real life or online experiences. So if you have been wondering to start hosting since a long time, this could be a great opportunity for you to start making an experience. It's an online class, it's an online Zoom experience. You could book with me, the link is in the chat box. It is completely free, there are no charges at all. It's part of Secrets of Successful Hosting, a dedicated series for the host, just like you and me. So if you are planning to start an experience, book a class with me and let me take you through the entire process of how the whole thing happens. It's usually on weekends, morning and evening time. Whenever you're comfortable doing that, you could actually do that. Now I'm still going to take a couple of more minutes to quickly tell you about how home host could be benefited by knowing the experience host in their city. On the next slide, you could see some of the benefits about how you could be benefited by I think we could move one slide back to have, there it is. Oh yes, there it is. Thank you. Now I totally understand if you feel like, oh, this must be a lot. I am still not ready to host an experience already. I'm just happy being a home host. Why should I know the experience host in my city? I'm going to give you 3 reasons which will convince you that you need to be aware of all the experiences which are happening in your city. Now, being in touch with your local hosts who are already taking care of your city experiences can help you boost your bookings and reviews. It's a trick to mutual growth and business. Most of the times, guests who come to my street art experience, they often ask me, okay, Shav, I've lived in South Delhi for 2 weeks now. I'm looking something for North Delhi. Do you have suggestions? Now, if I'm connected with the host in North Delhi, I could actually tell them a listing which I know of. Maybe I know that they like artistic homes, or maybe I know they like something which is a cottage stay. If they ask me about, because you see, we would be spending a substantial part of the day with them. My experience is 2 hour long. So if they're with me for 2 hours, I can actually give them recommendations of home hosts and vice versa. When somebody is staying with you, you could actually tell them, for example, Chirag has got perhaps more than, I suppose he mentioned 20 listings, more than 20 listings. Imagine so many guests staying at your accommodation, and if you're able to suggest each guest something related to their own personalities, something related to their own likings, it will clearly reflect on your reviews and it will also boost your business. Next slide speaks about how you can actually develop better reviews for yourself by recommending experiences, by learning more about what kind of travelers are visiting in your city, and exchanging it with the home host. We have seen immense benefit in my city, New Delhi, where I am connected to a few of the home hosts, and they also know a couple of experience hosts. We would just do the exchanges for the kind of guests we get. I'll also tell you about how staying updated with your city bus can be one of the things which you would be benefited if you're connected to your home, your experience host on the next slide. Experience hosts are usually very, very active. They are people who spend a lot of time in the city roaming around the area. And if you're a home host, you might just be consolidated to your own limited area. If you're connected to the local experience host, he'll help you understand what kind of families are visiting the city. He'll help you understand what kind of gigs or events are happening in the city. My whole idea of putting you in touch with the experience host is to kind of help each other in our businesses, also help each other develop more experiences and home hostings together, because it is very interesting concept and it is sure to grow with years of time that are up ahead. I'll quickly move back to Lindy to see if we have more questions or if there's anything that's going in your mind which you would like to ask and understand more about.
Thank you so much, Kashav. We just basically flew through that presentation. Thank you so much for being so engaging. So the key idea for this webinar for you, our host, is to start thinking about the future, to prepare yourself for when travel does come back, whether that's domestic or international travel. We want you to start thinking and don't rush for when it does come back, and to take the steps for when travel returns. So we want you to, we want to give you the opportunity to plan ahead and share information with you now, which we'll likely share again with you in the future. It's never too early to start building connections and forming relationships with fellow hosts. So thank you so much for all the questions that we see in the chat. I know a few of them have already been answered. So for the first question, I think the most popular question I see is that a lot of you are asking for Facebook clubs in regions such as Karnataka, Mumbai. So I just wanted to say that if you do not see any of the clubs that we've mentioned, so we currently only have 5 groups right now, which is Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Sikkim, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. So if you are keen to be a community leader and to actually form your own Facebook club, as Anubhav shared previously, please do apply for the Community Leaders Program. Yes, we also do not have a club yet in Kerala. We are definitely on the lookout. So if you are someone who's passionate about leading your own community, please do apply. And we'll be able to chat more on a one-on-one basis with you if you do apply. So the clubs are definitely important for you to connect with fellow hosts. You can share issues that you might be facing. The other hosts might also be sharing the same issue. We definitely have an Agra group that's coming up soon. And we also actually do have a Goa and Maharashtra group, which is actually not seen right now in the Get Local page. But we will share an email address that you can email to if you are keen to join those groups, which I'll share a little after. So the second question is there a way of showcasing experiences hosts on your own listing or area, cross-selling or upselling of sorts? So to answer this question, thank you, Honey. So for this question, where a guest applies, so for example, if I am to go to India and I book a listing, so I will actually receive an email from Airbnb of experiences that are available in the area, whether it's in that city or in that region of where the listing is. So in that sense, guests are already getting information of these types of experiences. And a lot of these experiences are usually something that, is either family related or just for kids. So guests will be able to find something that is just for them. Again, I also highlighted in the chat to kind of appeal to domestic travelers. As we all know, COVID is hitting the world right now. So for domestic travelers, if you are to start an experience, it could be, how do you appeal to someone in India from a different state? What is unique in your own region that you want to showcase to other people in India? Is that climbing a specific mountain? Is it, as Kashav mentioned about the photography, there are spots in your region that you are very familiar with and is beautiful, and you like to, give opportunity to other fellow Indians to experience this area and the beautiful surroundings. So there are so many other ways that you can think about in terms of experiences. For the third question, Kashav, maybe you can answer this one. So the third question is, as far as I know, the problem with experience is that we don't have an option to give a feedback review of the guest traveler who is taking the experience. Do you have anything to add to this?
That is actually correct. You don't have to really review a guest like you review them before they review you for your homes. It doesn't work like that in experiences, because primarily experiences are very, very short-lived. They are not really long. The maximum experience that you can probably keep is a 6-hour long experience, but you wouldn't want to keep those long an experience. So it doesn't give you an immediate opportunity to kind of review your guest already, but that's a great suggestion. I think I can put it forward to the right people, and I can see if this goes forward, definitely.
Thank you, Kashav. Some other questions, let's see. So Soraya, you mentioned, why is it obligatory to be so inflexible when detailing experiences in a country like ours, where there are ever-changing opportunities, season-wise, festivals, age, and cost? I'm not super sure about what you're trying to ask. Maybe would you like to expand in the chat, and maybe we can get back to that answer, or sorry, to that question. To find out if there are any sort of experiences in your area, what I would recommend to do is just to log on to Airbnb.com. You can click on the experiences tab, and then you'll be able to type in which area you want to see where experiences are available. So for example, you can type India and all the experiences will actually pop up. So that's a really great way to kind of see what's available in your area. Again, joining Facebook groups is a really good way to get in touch with other hosts, because you never know, someone with a listing might already be an experienced host. So they can also offer some advice to you as well. All right. So, okay, Honey, I see your questions. I've seen those emails when I travel, but the question is whether a host can showcase experiences that he or she thinks are more relevant. Yeah, unfortunately, this is a system generated by Airbnb, and yeah, unfortunately, there's no way that I can say that you can pick and choose. So it's what's most relevant, or what's available as well during that time and season. Also depending on whether the experienced host has opened their dates available for when that guest is traveling to that area. Someone also asked whether experiences can be over 2 days. So we have a product called Adventures, which is actually something that can be done over multiple days. Experiences are usually within like an hour to maybe 5 hours. It really depends. We have hosts. Maybe Kashav, do you want to like maybe touch on this?
Yes. So for multiple days experiences, for example, there are a couple of experiences which talk about the Golden Triangle in India, and they would take you through all the three cities in 4 days of time. They are more adventure based, like Lindy said, and you can actually try and put up something of that sort. It takes a time to get approved, and you need to put in more details. So the idea is to make sure that you have everything well planned in advance. So if it's a 2 day experience, you need to take care of all the 48 hours. So you need to probably have a clear understanding of what you're going to offer to the guest. If you're ready for that kind of spade work, and if you feel ready about it, definitely you should go ahead and submit your experience idea.
Thank you, Kashav. We have more questions. Thank you guys so much. Bidisha asked, how will people from Kolkata know if a Facebook group is happening? So we will definitely send out to hosts when groups are available in your region. So you should be able to get a an Airbnb email. Alternatively, as shared earlier as well, the Get Local page is a way to kind of keep up to date on what Facebook groups there are available in your city or in your country. We always advise hosts to join groups that are where your listing is. So for example, if you have a listing in Himachal Pradesh, we would recommend that you join a group in Himachal Pradesh, because sometimes regulatory laws may differ for each particular region, which is why that's quite important.
Could we add a bit on the experiences on our part for the audience?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
So, thank you, Keshav and Lindy, for this, wonderful presentation. And, now adrenaline rush has come to us, basically. And I hope a lot of participants are out there, they're actually, giving experiences, but they're not documented and they're not put up on Airbnb. So, everybody now must be thinking that, yeah, this is what I'm doing already, but why don't put it on across? So that's a great help. To give an example of what Pushpinder was, you were raising Pushpinder's this thing. So there's a very nice experience we give to our guests. It's called biryani nights, where we have a sit out, it's a beautiful ambience below the stars, and we present them hand cooked the biryani by Pushpinder, and she takes a lot of time to do that. And people enjoy it, I mean, it's a great experience, but now we're thinking of putting it across. There's a lot of other experiences. So thank you, Keshav, for bringing this up. And Lindy, you too. And all of us participants, we are excited. And the panelists here, we are very excited to put this across. Thank you.
I'm surprised how you're not doing it already. I'm going to book it immediately as soon as it is up. Send me a link. I'm all in for biryani.
Nice. Saraya has just asked Keshav a question in the chat. So we tried to submit our experience, but we are not able to get our experience approved because depending on the age of the guest or where the guest is located in the city, etc., we have to change the pickup point, the sequence of the experience according to the weather, etc. Keshav, do you have any insights that you might want to share with Saraya?
Suraya, that's a very interesting question, but I would say your approval of an experience would not get dependent on the day weather condition. If you feel that there's an emergency, or if weather is not good on a certain day, you might decide to call off the experiences by letting the guests know in advance, and there are also some kind of cancellation charges which could be waived in case of an emergency. But I would say if your experience is not approved right now, maybe you would want to speak to the customer care in detail to help them understand if the pictures are not correct, or if there is some kind of ambiguity that still exists in the submission that you have made. In case you need my help, I'm more than willing to have a look at what your submission was, what the idea was. But definitely there are very, very all kind of ages, genders, and kind of people that are there. So if it's about the weather only, until and unless it is seasonal, I don't see it should have a problem. If you want me to help you out, you can always do that. Let me just know.
Yeah, so just to plug it in as well, Kashev is doing an experience where he will help fellow hosts in terms of setting up their experience page. So please feel free to join Kashev in that experience. Kashev, if you want to put that into the chat as well, that might be useful for everybody.
Right. I just did that.
Thank you. Can you share the contact details of the community leaders and the host attending this meeting? No, unfortunately, we cannot. Privacy is very important to us, and I'm sure it is important to you as well. For Facebook groups, though, I've shared the Get Local page in the chat. Please feel free to click on it. It kind of shows you Facebook groups that are available actually globally. So, for example, if you are an India host and you actually have a listing in Japan, you could actually join a Japanese Facebook group. Of course, if you do speak Japanese, that would be much better. But I mean, you can definitely have a look. We have a lot of clubs available. And also, as Hari mentioned, the purple, let me go back to, oh, actually, never mind. The purple dots in the map in the Get Local page indicates the homes hosts clubs, and the red dots indicate the experience host clubs. All right, I'm also just going through the questions here. Our
Lindy,
experiences, yes.
sorry, somebody mentioned about the insurance. They were asking that they want to have a boat ride, and do they need an insurance? Would you like to answer that one?
You have a boat ride, do you? Don't you?
Yes, I do. So yes, it is very much recommended in case you are hiring a person, or if you're driving a vehicle yourself, or if you have a trained professional person who's going to take care of it, you need to upload their credentials also. Also, the first time you set up an experience, just like how you set up a home listing, there is a physical verification that takes place. So you would have to submit some kind of IDs, driving licenses, insurances that need to be in place. So Airbnb is very particular about making sure that everything that you're offering to the guest is safe, secure, and covered in all ways. So this is definitely something which is recommended.
Thank you, Kashav. We also had a question, hosting golfers and play on many golf courses. Yes, that could actually be a very interesting experience. There are a lot of Airbnb guests who do play golf. So, you know, your experience could be join me on a golf tour, a golf course tour, or learn how to play golf if you are a trainer yourself and you can teach people how to play golf. That's really great. So it's really anything that you're passionate about that you want to kind of share with other guests around the world. All right. Any more questions that we have? Unfortunately, we don't have yet a Delhi community Facebook group, but that is definitely on my list and coming up very soon. So please keep your eyes peeled. All right. Well, I see those are all the questions for now. Well, we still have 10 minutes left, but it seems that we are not getting any more questions. Either way, maybe we will close this session today. And if you do have any sort of questions, you can reach out to us. So I just want to say again, thank you everyone for being with us today. Please take a moment to screenshot this next slide. So these are all the links that we've shared with you in the webinar today. Again, I want to point out that we do have a Goa and Maharashtra group, which is not yet on the Get Local page. If you are keen to join either of these Facebook groups, please feel free to drop a note via the email address here, which is hostclubsupdates@airbnb.com. Also, if you have any other sort of questions that you might have for the team, please feel free to drop it there, and one of our team members will point you in the right direction or reply you directly. As for our upcoming Agra Facebook group, the club will also be available on the Get Local page soon. The Get Local page gets updated on a monthly basis. So don't worry, we will also send out another email to make sure that everyone is aware of Facebook clubs that are popping up. Also, a good thing to note is that please do subscribe for Airbnb newsletters. That's where you get invitations to webinars and also all of the updates that we might have for you as hosts. Unfortunately, if you're not subscribed, then we won't be able to share this information with you. So thank you once again to everyone and all our leaders for being here today. And we look forward to connecting with you as members in an Airbnb host community club soon. And have a fabulous Sunday ahead. And goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining in. Have a great time. Enjoy yourself. Bye bye. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Take care.